The number one mistake people make when wanting to put solar on their RV is not looking at this brand new solar rack that's designed for RVs. Why did nobody tell me I could get double the amount of solar panels on my RV roof with half the amount of work? So this setup is from Monument Solar, and I found Monument Solar last year, and man, do I wish that I had used that system on my RV. Now granted, my RV solar setup has been working for me, but I've already had 3 panels go down, and I'm concerned that the racking system isn't going to hold up. Now, if you watch all the way to the end, I'm going to give you a little secret on how you can reduce your air conditioning needs by 65%, as well as another way to add even more solar to your rig so you can run whatever you want. So I haven't had any issues yet, to be clear, but that doesn't mean I haven't worked with other people who haven't had issues. So if you take a look at this right here, you can see that some of these Z brackets that are the most common way people add panels to their RV roof, some of them have failed. And oftentimes they are slowly wiggling or jiggling over time and breaking down the aluminum and causing the failure of the panels. So really there are 5 main issues that happen with RV mounted solar panels. And I want to go through those really quick to make sure we understand why this Monument Solar RV setup is so good and why it's so game-changing. The first issue is having enough solar panels on the roof of the RV that's powerful enough to run everything while still fully charging up the batteries, and then having a battery bank big enough to continue running everything at night. So that's the first issue, is enough solar. Second is water leaks. Because of the systems that have existed in order to put solar on the roof, it's not uncommon to get water leaks. Not only is that a major headache because you have to tear everything back off, but then you got to replace the roof or plug the holes with more die-core, and it becomes a big problem. Thirdly is making sure the solar panels are secure so they don't fly off the roof and cause a major accident. This has actually been known to happen, and part of the reason is because there is no technical certification that has to be met when mounting solar panels on an RV. There's no code, there's no nothing to get verified, so anybody can do it however they want, and that can cause life-threatening situations with accidents or problems with the RV. Fourth is a way to easily maintain and work on the panels. Driving down dirt roads, your panels could get damaged, could get scratched, or they just get dirty because they're up on the roof and they need to be cleaned. Being able to clean them makes you a lot more solar power, which means you can run what you want. And then fifth is shading issues, because there's air conditioning units and other little pieces and windows, pipes sticking up out of the roof of the RV. You can run into shading issues, and I actually have that issue on my RV. And that's actually one of the things I considered as I placed my panels on the roof, is how do I have the least amount of shading? So really who this video applies to is people who want to boondock. They want to live in or just use their RV off-grid. It could also be because their RV is part of their bug out plan. One of the biggest problems with bugging out is having a shelter or having a place to go. So if you can bring your home with you and it has all your comforts as well as power, water filtration, food, security, all of those things, then it's a major bonus. And then there's a typical RVer who just wants to save on electricity and campsite costs, because it does get very expensive staying at different campgrounds, and having enough power to run everything you want means you keep a lot of money in your pocket that you're not spending elsewhere. So there are some specific reasons why I'm actually going to be converting my RV over to using the Monument Solar setup. I'll be having that installed on my RV, so I've got to take off all the panels that I have on there, likely redo the whole roof because I put over 150 holes in the roof, and then having this new Monument Solar setup put on. The major reason I'm doing it is I'll get more than twice as much solar input than with my current setup. And the way I'm able to get double the amount of solar input is because I'm able to use the entire roof for solar panels. With my current setup, I have them set up in kind of a Tetris style, all zigzagged and kitty cornered and different setups, trying to be able to fit as many panels as I can. And every single hole has a chance to leak, and every single panel has a chance of coming off. So I want something much more secure. So that's the first thing that this Monument Solar setup is doing, is it's allowing me to use all of the real estate available on the roof, so that way I can run anything I want during the day, and recharge my batteries in a single day, which will then allow me to run what I want all night long. Secondly, this prevents a lot of roof damage. The biggest thing that Monument Solar is bringing to the market is their patented pieces like this here. This piece of metal used to not exist, and now that it does, it's patented because it's so good at fixing this problem of reducing the amount of holes that go into the roof and making the racking much more structural. The reason this is so special is because roofs are not perfectly flat on RVs. They have a slight roundness to them, and you can see here, this is not at a 90-degree angle right here. And I have all of these holes and this surface area that can be used for securing this as a footing on the side wall of the RV. So that's one of the major tricks, is across the middle of the roof of the RV, there's basically no structure. There is thin plywood and then some thin wood ribs that go across the roof, but it is not very strong. So by using this, it goes right on top of the sidewall where all the strength of the RV is. So now I put less holes in the roof and I get a ton more security to make sure those panels aren't going anywhere. Thirdly, the racking is really lightweight because it's this high-grade aluminum. It's not gonna cause any issues being on my roof. One other thing that is super cool about the Monument Solar setup is the ability to tilt the panels. There are different configurations that the panels can be placed in. Obviously flat for travel and typical use, as well as up at about a 45-degree angle facing south in order to maximize the solar input. And then if I need to work on the roof or clean the panels or do anything, the panels can actually go up at a 90 degrees straight up on their side, and I can clean them from around the outside of the RV without having to climb on the roof. Or if I just want to keep the panels in that position for storage during the winter, that's going to make sure that they don't get loaded with snow and potentially have cracks in the cells. Now, the fifth major thing that blows my mind with the Monument Solar setup is that the whole racking system only adds 2 inches to the entire height of the RV. It's roughly similar to my thumb, but I know many people are concerned about the weight. And that's one of the beauties of using the larger residential style solar panels. Not only are they a better price per watt than the smaller 100 watt and 200 watt panels, but the panels themselves distribute the weight far more evenly across the entire RV on the sidewalls, but then also between the front and the back. See, on my RV, the majority of the space that I have is in the front, which makes the front of the RV heavier, whereas I'd like to have it more balanced by having more panels in the back. Once I saw all of these bonuses, it was enough for me to say I'm absolutely getting this system, even though it's going to cost me more to take off what I've currently got on there. But there are other bonuses that the Monument Solar setup gives. One of those extra bonuses is because the entire roof is covered with solar panels, I'm naturally going to have a lot more shade on my RV, which is going to make my roof last longer. There's going to be a lot less wear and tear on the roof, and I'm going to have a lot less heat in the summer going down into my RV, because we all know insulation in RVs is just not that great. It means I can actually choose the sunny spots for parking instead of looking for a shady spot to try to keep the rig cool. All of that space that's between the roof and the solar panels is basically an open air thermal barrier. There's so much air movement in there that the heat cannot transfer from the panels into the roof, and it's always going to keep the roof cool. As an additional bonus, and I couldn't do this with my current setup, I get to use bifacial solar panels. Bifacial solar panels are solar panels that have cells on the front and cells on the back. So any ambient light, excess light from all around, shines up on the back, and I get extra power from it. This is especially powerful when it's snowy out, because the front of the solar panels could be completely covered in snow, but the bottom is still getting energy from all the ambient light. And all of that snow is reflecting more light, making it still a viable option to produce power when there's bad weather. And since the vast majority of RV roofs are white, all of that excess light is hitting the roof, bouncing into the solar panels, and making extra energy. And lastly, they have a 5-year warranty. As long as it's installed by a certified Monument Solar installer, then they give you 5 years of warranty. Now, at this time, there is a special going on for early adopters. And as well, if you use the link in the description below, you can get an additional discount on the whole system. To be clear, the full system is the solar panels, the patented racking, as well as batteries, inverters, charge controllers, They can do 100% of everything to make the RV setup completely ready for any situation. If you already have batteries, an inverter, or a solar generator, you can use that and still adapt the new racking to what you've got already. So they're definitely trying to work with everyone's situation, which is something I can appreciate. They're not just saying, I don't care what you have to buy everything from me. They're willing to get you the racking and the panels and then adapt it to whatever battery and inverter setup that you've already got, or they can recommend the best setup for your needs. We're going to be hosting a special webinar, and I'll put that link down below. If it's after the webinar, then you should be able to view the replay of the webinar and still be able to get a discount by using my link and mentioning that you found out about the system from Minuteman Prep. I'm all about making my RV more efficient so that way I can go longer with my power and not have to use as much batteries. And so in order to reduce how much power I'm using from air conditioning, I made a video, and I'll put that right up here to where you can see how I reduce my power usage immensely by using a different air conditioner. And not only am I switching my entire RV to use the Monument Solar setup, but I'm also going to be adding a solar awning. I'm going to replace my current awning with a powered awning, and instead of just having fabric that breaks down after 1 or 2 years, it's going to be solar panels. And these solar panels are designed to be rolled up and stay in constant use for years on end. So I can get either 400, 800, or another 1200 watts of solar input on my rig just by adding this new solar awning. So if you want to see how I add that solar awning to my rig, then comment down below. And if you'd like to see a full installation video on how the installation works for the Monument Solar on my RV, then comment that down below as well. Thanks guys, be prepared. See you on the next video.